What's up guys, welcome back to the Raw Visuals YouTube channel. So we are definitely in the middle of fall because I can literally smell the pumpkin spice in the air right now. Wait, hold on. Hey babe, what's that smell you have in the house right now?
Pumpkin vanilla marshmallow.
Even better. But anyway, the premise of today's video is to kind of get back in the mindset of when I built my first PC, to give you guys a couple of tips that I learned. And in the spirit of Halloween coming up, I'm going to teach you guys how to build a PC that has such good performance and so much bang for your buck that it literally might scare you. So when I was thinking about building my first PC, I really had no idea of where to start. So naturally, I took to Google and literally just typed in how to build a PC. And I'm sure you're probably going to do the exact same thing, but stop. I'm going to save you a little bit of time and a little bit of energy. Don't do that. You're going to go to one website right now and I'm going to show you why. You're going to go to pcpartpicker.com and we're going to start there. Now this site, I'm not going to say that it is the be all end all of PC building, but it is a great resource for you to start building your PC because you can literally pick any part you want, put it in there, change out parts at will, and you can actually use their wattage calculator to assess how much of a wattage or a power supply, how big of a power supply you actually need to save yourself from buying a 1,000 watt power supply for a system that only needs 300 watts or something like that. So it is a great resource for people who are just starting out, and they even have guides to get you started. So we're gonna go over to the computer right here and I'm gonna show you guys where you should get started at. Okay guys, now that we're over here, the very first thing that I want you guys to think about when you're kind of getting ready to do your PC build is choosing a budget. So how much money you're wanting to spend on this PC that you're gonna build, okay? So my very first PC that I built, funny thing, I'll actually show you a picture of it right here. This was my very first PC that I built, and you can see the graphics card's not even in it. I had a Radeon HD 6850, I believe. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Such a great card. It was like an XFX black edition or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, this whole build right here, 600 watt power supply, I think 8 gigs of RAM. What was it? It was an AMD system, a 955 black edition, whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. And I think I only had one hard drive, just a terabyte hard drive. So yeah, you can get an idea of how much cooler stuff looks these days. I'm gonna end up showing you that here in a second anyway. But so as far as your budget, you kind of just need to choose a price point that is comfortable for you. So that's gonna vary depending on who this is. But for this particular build right here that I'm gonna show you guys, I chose a budget of $550. And for that picture I just showed you my very first build, that was the exact budget that I had at the time, because anything more than that, I would not be able to afford it because I was in college at the time, and there was just no way I could afford anything more than that. That was as much money as I had saved by selling everything that I owned to build this PC. So $550 is the budget we're gonna go with, and with that budget, okay, you have your number. What do you want to do next? So where do you start? So obviously, like I said before, you guys are probably gonna end up taking to Google, right? And Googling how to build a PC, all that kind of stuff. And you might find some great resources out there other than what I'm gonna show you right here. But the number one resource that I want you guys to use that is very useful is pcpartpicker.com. So I already have that queued up. Let's go ahead and look at it right here. So they do have these right here, these build guides. So this is what I want you guys to kind of start using. If you guys have no idea what you guys need to be buying for what you're gonna be wanting to build, this will help you out a lot. So that brings me to my next thing that you guys need to think about is what exactly you're going to be using this PC for. So before you pick any parts, you need to decide, what am I going to be doing with this PC? So if you're going to just be mainly just gaming, usually Intel is your best bet. So that brings me to my next thing. You have to choose a platform, and that is AMD or Intel. Those are the two main platforms out there. So, and they both have their advantages and disadvantages. So right now, AMD usually is the biggest advantage as far as everything, because AMD's newest processors, their new Ryzen processors, ever since the first gen of it, they're able to basically game, stream, record, whatever you want to do. So, and they do a lot of really, really good multi-threaded workloads. So they're very good for just about everything. So AMD is like the, cost-efficient everything platform. So if you're going to be doing anything multi-threaded, like super heavy workloads like that, you're going to be doing any kind of streaming or anything like that, and you want to be able to do that as well as just flat out game, AMD is going to be your best bet. But I will preface that with saying Intel can do those things too, and in raw gaming performance, Intel still is the winner. Intel still is better in raw gaming numbers. I can actually tell you that right now. See, so there's another resource I want you guys to use if you guys are comparing anything, and that is this site called GPU User Benchmark. So you can use this site for stuff like comparing CPUs, GPUs, all of that. So even as I click on the CPU, you can see that the top rated one is the Intel 9400F, because that thing gets the best raw gaming performance for the price. So there's going to be two versions of this build I'm going to show you, and I'm going to only be building one of them, obviously, but that is because me personally, even when I built my first PC, I leaned more towards the content creator / gamer type person. So I wanted to be able to do both. So AMD was my way in. And then, well, back then, actually, AMD was the most cost-efficient way to build a PC in the first place. And I couldn't afford Intel back then. I would have been able to, I would have gotten some crazy low-end stuff from Intel, and I wouldn't have been able to do anything I wanted it to do. So back then, AMD was just the best value. And honestly, right now, AMD sometimes is the best cost-efficient value as well. And I'm going to show you why we went with certain parts. And I'm going to show you the price breakdown, why I picked them, and why we're going to be using them. So as I said, using these build guides. So if you go to this, that's the very first thing on their site. You click the main page. They have all these different builds that you can see from other people that did them, but I want you to go to visit the build guides. So there are some very awesome build guides right here that can get you guys started in the right direction. So what I base this build off of that I'm going to be building for you guys is these desktop gaming ones. These are the obviously more cost efficient ones. I base this whole build off of this right here, the entry level AMD gaming build. So if you're like building your very first PC, these are very great options right here, depending on how much money you have. So now we're gonna go ahead and go with this right here. So I went with the entry level AMD build, and if you go down to the parts right here, you can see that I just switched out a few things because I was able to find some deals on it. And I was, because obviously this only goes to $500, I was able to stretch the budget a little bit more and get us a few extra, you know, shiny pieces to the build for just a little bit extra money. Because if you use your resources and you search around a little bit, you're able to pack a bit more and get a more bang for your buck as far as your build goes. So the actual build that I went with, like I said, I started with this, and that's what I kind of want you guys to do. I want you guys to start with something like this, or even the Intel version of this if you want to go to Intel, and just check the prices. See how this one, $30 more, because the Intel 9100F, you know, they cost a bit. These honestly cost a bit more, and this one obviously they had to put a cooler in it because maybe this one doesn't come with a cooler, but the AMD CPUs always do. So there you go. That's $31 that you didn't need to spend. But anyway, so depending on whatever, I'm not an AMD or an Intel fanboy. I just like computers in general, just whatever gets the job done best. So again, use these build guides to your advantage. Search out what your budget is and take into account all the different parts, and you're able to use these build guides from PC Part Picker to determine a lot of different factors and to save a lot of money in certain places. So our actual build that we're going to be doing is this one right here. I'm going to go to my save part list. And again, you can save your part list and come back to it later, and then you can just make edits. So that's why this site is a very, very good resource for building PCs, you guys. So we're gonna go down. So this new fall budget build right here, this is the one we're making. And you can see the parts right here. So I'm just gonna quickly go through them. I'll show you a little B-roll of each piece, and then after that, I'll explain why I put each piece in there. So CPU, we chose the AMD Ryzen 5 2600 processor. The reason I picked this one was because it is a 6-core processor, 12 threads, very good for multi-threaded workloads. No, it is not the newest Ryzen 3000 series, but because the newest stuff came out, the older stuff is now coming down in price. And when you're building your first PC, that is the best time to buy like the previous generation, because they come down way in price and your barrier to entry gets way lower. So it's exactly what I did when I built my first PC. And this time with AMD, there is an awesome upgrade path to this system, because back when I built my first AMD system, that system that platform I built off of was basically locked there. I could not use that for anything else. I had no upgrade path. This right here, if you're done with the Ryzen 5 2600 processor, you can easily still upgrade your BIOS and this motherboard I'm about to show you, and you can go to the newest version of Ryzen 3000 processors. So it's very awesome, and I really like the fact that AMD does this. So for somebody building their first PC, this is where I'd want you guys to start with. So back to this, we got the Ryzen 5 2600. It's going to be great for you guys. It's going to be great at gaming. It's going to be great at productivity. And just so you guys know right here, the Intel equivalent that you're going to be seeing is the 9400F. It's obviously at the top because in raw performance, like I said, it's better. But if you see the price tag, $140. We go just a couple tiers down to 5 right here. And if you see the price, $110. And this one comes with a cooler that, in my opinion, is a lot better than the Intel stock cooler, and it actually looks a lot better too. And it's not much worse, you guys. Not much worse in gaming, and you can do a lot more with it too because it is a 6-core, 12-thread processor, just like the Intel processor. And like I said, AMD is usually better at multi-threaded workloads. So this is a great option. You can find it a lot cheaper nowadays, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So let's go ahead and go to the motherboard. So we picked an ASRock B450 Pro 4 Micro ATX AM4 motherboard. So like I said, this thing comes equipped with the right BIOS right out of the box for your 2600 because they both came out at the exact same time, so they are paired perfectly together. And like I said, if in the future you want to upgrade to Ryzen 3000, all you have to do is go to this motherboard's website, upgrade the BIOS, and I have a video for that. I'll link it in the description, or I'll put it up here somewhere so you guys can see that. If you guys want to upgrade your BIOS to use Ryzen 3000 processors, and you can upgrade that 2600 to like a 3600X or a 3600, or you can even go to like a 3700X like I have in my system over here. Okay, so that's why I think this platform will be great for a person building their first PC because it gives you that path to go to. All right, so going on to memory. So if you guys are familiar with Ryzen, then you'll already know this, but if you're not, because you're probably a new person watching this video, so if you're not, Ryzen processors love faster memory. So I wanted to at least get some DDR4 3000 memory because we can overclock it to 3200 megahertz. And with Ryzen, they take advantage of something called the Infinity Fabric, and that has to do with how the CPU communicates with the memory, and it makes your CPU/GPU faster and do its calculations a lot quicker. So that's probably just a dumbed down way of explaining it. There's probably a lot more to it, but anyway. So faster memory equals more performance with Ryzen, so I tried my best to at least get 16 gigs of 3000 memory, and in this build we were actually able to find some RGB memory from Team Group, T-Force Delta RGB 16 gigabytes. So for $64.89, we were able to get ourselves some RGB memory and add a little bling to the build, which is pretty awesome. There's nothing like actually building your first PC and having it look really cool as well, because I mean you can show it off to your friends. So if you want to save like $5, you can get non-RGB RAM, but I thought, honestly, the other RAM I was going to get at this same speed was $59.99, and I was like, okay, $5 extra, I don't really care. I want RGB RAM because it'll look really cool. So we went with that. All right, and as far as storage, we went with a dual option. This is like the most common thing you'll see these days. I did not go with an M.2 drive, even though our motherboard does have 2 slots for it. M.2s are very cheap now, and if you have a little extra money to spend, I would suggest going with an NVMe drive as your boot drive because they are very fast. But for a first person, again, going back to that, building their first PC using a regular solid state drive, you will notice that it is super fast, and your PC will boot up faster than you'd expect anyway. So you're gonna like it no matter what. So I got an ADATA SU635 240 gigabyte, and this is only $25.99. It might even be cheaper now, but at the time of my purchasing, that's how much it costs. And for that price, for a 240 gig, that's going to be great for just your OS and your main programs. And then you may be looking at yourself saying, that is not enough storage, Ricky, but don't worry. This is why we also got ourselves a 2 terabyte Hitachi UltraStar spinning drive at 7200 RPM, which is great. That's fast enough for your mass storage of photos, videos, if you're doing video editing and stuff like that. I still use them in my system right here because they're very cost effective and they hold a lot of capacity for not a lot of money. So for mass storage, this is a great option. They're very cheap. It was only $33.88 for me. And you can actually find them cheaper. There's certain drives you can get from Hitachi that are actually made by like HP. The one we actually got says HP on it, but they're like the exact same drive. They're just branded. and you can actually get them refurbished for even less. And from Amazon, if you get them refurbished, they come completely tested, and you get a little certificate card in the box that says they're working perfectly. So you have that peace of mind. So anyway, moving on to the best find of this build, and this is something that you guys might have to do a little bit of work in order to find, or you're gonna have to spend a little bit more money on this build in order to get what I got. So the graphics card that we got, we were able to get the GeForce GTX 1060 6GB, the dual version from Asus, and I found this on the Facebook Marketplace, and somebody sold it to me for $125. And I'll put my message on here from my phone to prove this. But yeah, somebody gave me this deal on it, so I literally went and got it that day. And because of this card, that is why I decided to make this build for you guys, because this is just an awesome deal. I see these 6GB 1060s going on the marketplace for $200 all day. And at a discount like this, there was no way I could pass that up. So if you guys see deals like this on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, stuff like that, use those resources and search for stuff like this. Now, I know you're going to be looking at me going, Ricky, I'm new to this. I have no idea what I should be searching for. So, oh, sorry, hit the mic there. Don't worry about that. I'm going to give you a couple different options. So, this was $125. Now, remember that other build that we went and let's go ahead and just open this up let's go ahead and open this up really quick again and go to that original build. So the original build had this card in it. Let's see, where are we? Build guides. Let's go down here. There's the AMD build right there. Okay, so the original build had the RX 570 4GB, which is also still a great card. And guess how much it is? $130. So very close to what I spent. Now, you're not going to get as much performance as the 1060. I can show you this right now. Let's go to our site right here. GPUs. You can see that, let's see, the RX 570. Let's see, RX 570 right here. Let's compare that to the GTX 1060 6GB. Yep. Okay, so we can compare these two cards, and you'll see right here that, yeah, see how it says 130? So this one was 125. So I actually saved $5 by buying this on the Facebook Marketplace. And you'll see that in gaming, 28% better, 19% better, 11%. So overall, this is just a better card, okay? So if you're able to find something like this that was, this is last generation. I mean, actually this was too. If you're able to find something like this for a better deal, absolutely get it, you guys. Search around for a couple cards that are in the right or in the same price tier, and try to get yourself a better deal. That's basically what this kind of parts hunting type thing is. And so we can check out the 3GB too, and actually the 3GB card is better. And I know for a fact you can get these 3GB cards sometimes for like $90 on the Facebook Marketplace. So if you're not able to find yourself a 1060 3GB, I would highly suggest, or 6GB, sorry, I would highly suggest trying to go for the 3GB, because it's still going to be better than his RX 570, okay? But if none of that can work out for you, then just go with the RX 570, or you can actually go with the RX 580, which is much more comparable to the 1060 3GB. So if you're able to find the RX 580 for a deal, this also, keep in mind, the RX 580 comes in a 4GB and an 8GB variant. I would suggest going with the 8GB variant just in case you can get it, but either one is going to be much more comparable to the 3GB version of the 1060. So the four cards I want you guys to look at are the RX 570, RX 580, 1060 3GB, 1060 6GB, okay? If you guys can find anything in that price range, you guys will be doing great. It'll be within the same price for the GPU, and you guys will still have a great 1080p gaming experience, okay? And here's the thing. I'm going to throw this out there right now. If you guys have a little bit extra money, okay, if you end up having like $100 extra to spend on your build and you want to go to $650 instead of $550, let me show you something, okay? This is what I want you guys to do. You're able to get a much better card for just a little bit more money, okay? An even better graphics card, which, because this, guys, this is mainly always going to be a gaming build. This is what you're going to be doing. So the most of your money, the most of your budget, you want that spent on your graphics card, okay? If you're doing just a lot of gaming, you want the best graphics card you can get, okay? So we're going to go to this right here. I built a second version of my thing and just put in the EVGA GTX 660 Super. It's the newest card they just came out with. They built the super version of the 660 or 1660. So you might have seen this regular 1660, the 1660 Ti, and now they have the 1660 Super. And I've watched all the benchmarking videos on all three of these cards, and the best value right now for any card at this price bracket is this guy right here, okay? So if you have an extra $100 to spend, don't even think about it. Buy the 1660 Super 6 gig and be done with it, okay? That'll be the fastest card you can get at this price point, all right? So if you're not able to get a 1060 6 gig and you have a little extra money to spend, get the 1660 Super, guys. Just do it, okay? So that's the graphics card. Sorry that was a lot, but that's the most important part of your build, to be totally honest. So that's what I wanted to make sure I hit home for you guys, so you guys got all of the different options and you guys are able to make an informed decision. Okay, and now on to our case. So this is also another spot where I give you guys a little bit of leeway. Now, they originally, in the original AMD list, let's go over here, they put a very budget case in here, which is it's always the case with your first build. You don't, no pun intended, actually, whatever, I might have done that on purpose. But anyway, you don't really need to worry too much about your case. You need something just to put your parts in, okay? But as I figured out with that first case, like I was the half 112 or something like that, I started to find out over the years as I built in it, I hated the fact that the inside of it wasn't painted. So I ended up plasti dipping it myself. Now, these days you don't have to worry about that. Pretty much every case is painted on the inside, but you need to choose yourself a case you might end up using again, and you're not worried about using for another build because you're going to end up upgrading eventually. So something like this case that they suggested right here is perfectly fine. It's on Amazon, it's only $35. So you guys could totally go with this all day long, okay? And save yourselves a few extra bucks. And you know what? If you do that, you can afford some RGB lights to put in here and make it look even cooler, okay? So that's an option. You guys can go with this case. That's what it originally had. But what I decided to go with was this. I'm going to show you guys this on Amazon real quick. I decided to go with this case from Dark Flash because I am very interested in it. I just really wanted to try it, and it looks really cool. So because to go with the white theme of the graphics card, I wanted to get this guy right here. This is the Dark Flash. What is it? They call it the DLM21 White. So this thing's actually out of stock right now, or it was anyway. And yeah, it's really cool. It's got this really awesome option. You can actually, it has a tempered glass window, but you can just pull it open. There's no bolts on it or anything. And I think that's amazing. For like a basically $50 case, you get a full tempered glass window. It's not even the thin ones. It's like an actual full tempered glass window with a little thing to just open it. You don't have to mess with bolts or anything like that. And I think that's really cool. And then it's really cool front design. It's got a room for about 5 different fans in it. You can put a radiator in there if you want to do water cooling. It's got everything you need. And I just loved it. The only thing that I'm worried about is just the front vent design, maybe not being able to take enough air in, but we'll find out how that goes when we test the build. But so this is what I went with for the build because I was able to find that specific graphics card. So like I said, if you guys end up getting a different graphics card than I got, don't feel, obligated to get this case. I mean, if you guys get a black graphics card, get the black one to match it, whatever you want to do. I just got this because I've been building PCs for a while and I actually like some stuff to match in the PC. So I got that case because I thought it looked really cool, had all the features that I was looking for this kind of build. And this just goes to show you guys you can get a lot for just a $50 case. So that's what I want you guys to be looking for, is something in the price range of $50 and below, because that's really all you need for your first case, okay? So with that out of the way, the last thing you guys need to worry about is your power supply. Now, this is something that I get questions about all the time, is how much wattage you actually need in your power supply. So you can see that I went with a 600 watt power supply right here. And you're going to ask me right now, do you need that much wattage for this build? And the answer is absolutely not. I could have gone with a 450 watt power supply and it would have been fine. I could have gone with a 400 watt power supply and I would have been fine. And I'm going to show you why right now. The reason I ask you to use PC Part Picker is because they actually give you your estimated wattage based on all your parts you listed right here. Okay? So this PC right now, with everything in it that I'm using, and this is all I'm using, nothing else, is only going to be 289 watts. I could have gone with a 300 watt power supply. I would have been freaking out it's going to explode one day, but it would have worked. So this is a lot more headroom than I actually need. But the reason I got it was because it was cheap. I got it for $55. And to have that extra wattage means later down the road, If I want to upgrade the CPU, like I said, if I want to upgrade the GPU, like I said, I can upgrade to 2 more beefy things and still have enough wattage to be able to push it, okay? So that is the reason to do that in your first build. If you guys know that down the road you're gonna end up putting new things into your build anyway, you might as well get a little bit extra wattage than you actually need. And this is what I suggest right here. So like it says I need 300 watts, double it, okay? Go with the 600 watt power supply. Say this said 250, I would have gone with a 500 watt or a 550 watt. That's it. I double it just so in the future, if you need more wattage, you have it. And that doesn't go for every build that I do, because I mean, my build that I have right here, I believe what I have an 850 in there. Do I need all that? No, I could have gone with a 650 and it still would have worked. So again, I leave that for overclocking headroom and then for future upgrades. That's what that's for, you guys. So if you're gonna be doing any of that, you're still gonna be able to find a good power supply with a acceptable amount of wattage for a good price. So again, for your first build, $55 and below, perfect. It's a perfect price point. You need to be in the range of about $45 to $55 with your power supply. You should be fine for this build. And this is also 80+ bronze certified, and I've used these EVGA bronze powered ones before, and I've never had one fail on me, so that's why I did that. And now moving on to accessories. So like I said, with these kind of builds, I don't really include accessories other than stuff like Windows. So you guys are gonna need an operating system, right? So I actually have a way for you guys to get Windows for cheap, because normally, let's go ahead and go to operating system right here. The very top one, well, home, but I'm gonna get you guys Windows 10 Pro. Windows 10 Pro, look how much it costs, $139.89. I don't pay that, you guys, okay? There is a lot of resources out there for you guys to get a Windows 10 key for nothing, okay? And still keep you in your budget. So, as I said, at the end of this, let's check this out real quick. Let's go to our, where are we at here? All over the place. Let's go back to this here. Okay, so we're in our price breakdown right here. We have $539.53, and I said our budget is $550. So in order to get Windows 10 for a really cheap price, we're going to be using somebody who actually is a sponsor of our channel, and I will be doing a dedicated video on this to show you guys how to do this. So don't worry about it, but we're going to be going to a site called URCD Key, and we're going to be getting Windows 10 Pro right here, an OEM CD key. But right now it's $1467, but I do have a promo code that gets you 20% off, and that roughly makes that about $11, okay? So if we go back to our part list right here, we put in $11 plus that $539, that brings us right about $550, you guys. So you get a $550 PC with Windows included, fully activated, nothing weird about it, everything works. And again, like I said, get subscribed if you're not already, because I will be showing you in a dedicated video how to go to a site like that, get those keys for cheap using my promo code that I'm going to give you, and you guys will not have any problems with it. I've used them in every PC build that I've done. All right, well, I hope you guys found this helpful. As always, links to everything I featured in the video will be in the description below. My Amazon affiliate links will be down there, so I'd really appreciate if you guys clicked on those. If you're gonna buy something, really helps the channel out, gives me a little kickback, and it helps me create more videos for you guys. So as always, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys give it a nice like right there. I love seeing you guys do that. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, make sure you leave them in the comments below. I also love to answer you guys' questions, so no harm, no foul there. And if you guys really enjoy my content, make sure you guys get subscribed, because in the next video, I'm going to actually teach you guys how to build this PC and do it correctly. So you're gonna wanna get subscribed so you guys can see that video when it comes out. So until then, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. We'll be building a PC and it'll be really fun. See you later.